we doing, guys? And welcome back to TSTV for the match review of Chelsea 1, Leicester City 0. Now, it wasn't a vintage performance. It's not a game that's going to live particularly long in the memory, but it is job done. It is 3 points, and it does mean that we move back into the top four after Manchester City lost against Nottingham Forest yesterday. And for me, that kind of is the most important takeaway, right? That we managed to get the job done in a performance that wasn't particularly great. It wasn't spine-tingling. We created a few chances, and obviously Cole Palmer misses the penalty, and I'll come on to him in just a second. Ultimately, the most important thing is that we get Champions League football at the end of the season. Now, we came into this Southampton and Leicester game knowing that we needed to get 6 points. 6 points at a bare minimum to be able to kind of go into the last 10 games with any real hope of getting into the Champions League, because obviously the fixtures do get tougher after this, and we have managed to get those 6 points, and we've done it without conceding a goal, which is actually quite a rare thing for us. So on that front, I'm pleased. I want to get into something else in a minute. I want to get into the general reaction about the game, because I found that some of the takes from people, some of the criticism of Enzo Maresca has been absolutely ridiculous after this game. But obviously, in terms of the performance, yeah, I mean, we did enough to win the game. We obviously missed the penalty through Cole Palmer, who it's been revealed had diarrhea, was not very, very well at all, but wanted to come in and help the team. And it's probably the first time I've never fancied him in front of the penalty spot. There was obviously a bit of delay in taking the kick. The Leicester City goalkeeper kind of had a few delaying tactics, and he had to respot the ball. And he just looked a bit more nervous than usual. And that's understandable given the kind of form he's been in. He's not scored, I think, in 6 games previous to this. And as I say, I've seen him take penalties in the last minute of big games and in a quarter-final of a major competition for England, and I always fancied him to score, but I just didn't this time. And what was quite interesting as well is the corner he put his penalty in, which was the bottom left-hand corner, is kind of his favourite side for taking a penalty. I think he's done it 6 out of the previous 12 that he has taken one. And I think Hermansen, the Leicester City goalkeeper, probably knew that and probably did his homework and thought, do you know what, if he is lacking a bit of confidence, he's not going to probably go for a Panenka, which we've seen him do a couple of times before. He's going to go for the side that is most comfortable for him, because a lot of penalty takers, and I've taken penalties before, go for because it makes them feel a bit more comfortable and they're more certain in their technique that they can put it in the right place. It wasn't the worst penalty I've ever seen. It was struck pretty hard. The power on the shot was good, but it just wasn't quite in the corner, and Hermansen saved it. And it kind of just sums up the way things are going for Cole at the moment. He obviously got taken off pretty early on, and he was very below par after that, missed a few passes. Generally kind of wasn't really involved in the game in the second half in particular. Again, as I say, it's been revealed that he was ill, but he did want to come and play and help the team. And I guess obviously at 70 minutes, people are sitting there and talking about Cole Palmer's been hooked and, you know, it's because of this ongoing form. But I think ultimately that probably was just because he was ill, right? And I'm still convinced that he is going to be back. He's too good a player not to be. He's been absolutely brilliant for us in his first 18 months. He's going through a bad spell at the moment, but he is still very, very young. He's only 22 years of age, and he will come through this period, I'm certain. And once he gets that one goal, I know he will go on a run. So I'm not too worried. But ultimately, we need other players to step up in Cole's absence, and Marc Cucurella did do that today. It was a brilliant finish. It was almost like he's been reincarnated into Marcus Alonso this season. I think he's got 4 league goals already, and previous to this season, I don't think he had any league goals for us. And he's definitely, I think, the most improved player this season. He really is a character that I think kind of leads by example in the team. He always works hard, and look, he does make mistakes, but I always feel that he's showing 100% commitment to the cause. And he was brilliant defensively as well today, and it was a brilliant finish. And I was really, really pleased for him that, again, his kind of rehabilitation in the minds of Chelsea fans continues, and he's almost become a bit of a cult hero now. And it feels a long time ago since he was getting booed and people were really kind of going for him. I think he's one of the probably 2 standout players for us this season, along with Caicedo. Now, probably up until the last couple of months, it would have been Palmer, but I think Cucurella and Caicedo probably will be the ones vying out for our player of the season, and I think deservedly so. I think both were really, really good today as well. And Caicedo has been a little bit off colour recently, but I thought he was superb today. And I think in general, the performance, again, wasn't great. It wasn't scintillating, but we restricted Leicester City to very, very few chances. I think their best moment of the game actually came from our own doing, because Robert Sanchez was back in goal. And I sent a tweet kind of jokingly out before the game saying Maresca out, and that was tongue-in-cheek. I didn't mean Maresca out, but I was disappointed to see Sanchez start, and he makes a mistake where he comes out and completely misses a ball, and it takes Tosin by surprise. It hits his head and hits the crossbar, and Levi Cole does really, really well to kind of shepherd the ball away from danger. Other than that, they created absolutely nothing and gave us zero problems, really. And as I said earlier in the video, they set up for a point, and they obviously didn't get it, but they were very, very limited opposition. And I get the criticism in a sense that we should be winning the game more comfortably. We should be, once we go 1-0 up, going for the second and third goal. But ultimately, a win is a win, particularly in a high-pressure situation like this game was, because we did need to get 3 points. And we've also seen, again, take Liverpool, the best team in the league recently. Lem kind of struggled to get over the line against some of the worst teams in the league. So I remember Wolves at home a couple of weeks ago, they went, I think, 2-0 up, and then Cunha brought it back to 2-1. And then they got absolutely battered in the second half and were very lucky to escape with a win. Again, we're talking about the best league team in the league here. Yesterday, against Southampton, very, very poor in the first half, going 1-0 down. Had to rely on a couple of Salah penalties to get them out of trouble. So even the best teams sometimes have games like this. For me, the most important thing was just to get the job done. And some of the reaction that I've seen after the game, as mentioned earlier, has been absolutely ridiculous. People calling Maresca a disgrace, having a go at him for the style of football, having a go at him because we didn't win the game more convincingly, having a go at him because, players are going backwards and all this kind of nonsense. It's just totally ridiculous. Is his style of football kind of the way he passes and it's quite slow and methodical? Is it the football that I necessarily love watching? No, it isn't, to be honest. I will be very, very clear about that. I do prefer much more of an up-and-out style. But for me, we do have to support the team in this moment in time. We are going for a big objective. It is vital that we get Champions League this season. It is vital we're able to get that extra revenue to come in so we can attract a big striker in the summer and attract other big players that can help us really push on. Because if we don't get in the Champions League, then I think that'll be a real big problem for us financially. So we've got to get behind the team. After 5 minutes today, I'm watching the crowd moaning and having a go at players for passing the ball backwards and, getting agitated and frustrated. There's no singing, there's no songs. There's no one actually trying to encourage the team, trying to cajole them, trying to actually build up a bit of atmosphere. It's just all so negative. And the atmosphere this season has been absolutely crap. It has been absolutely crap. And I get it. It's not maybe the football that we particularly love to see, but we still got to get behind the team. It's not like we're 3-0 down. If we're 3-0 down, criticise the team all you want. Boo them off at the end. I'm the first person that is very, very critical of managers and players when I don't see them putting it all in and when I see performances. Case in point, the Brighton game a couple of weeks ago where I was extremely critical and extremely unhappy. And supporters have the right to vent their frustrations. And look, I'm never going to say supporters can't, say what they want or do what they want. But as Chelsea fans, we should try and get behind the team. At least try and motivate them and get them up for the game. And if we're seeing things that we don't like and we're losing and players aren't putting in effort, then fine, let's criticise. But this constant negativity, it is just pathetic. It honestly is pathetic, and people really need to get a grip and get behind the players and the manager for the rest of the season. If at the start of the season we said we'd win the Conference League and get into the top 4, everyone would have taken that. Everyone would have been very pleased. And now we're into the latter stages of the Conference League. We are in the top 4. Everyone is just absolutely hammering the players, hammering the manager, refusing to support them, calling for the manager to be sacked after actually winning a game of football. People just need to grow up and get a grip, honestly. And as mentioned, I'm the first person to moan when things aren't going well. I'm famous for it. I'm not someone that's a happy clappy fan that says everything's great when it's not. I really am not that type of person, as you would have seen from my previous videos. But we've got 3 points. Be pleased. Be pleased that we've got 3 points. Be pleased that the second half of this season we can still try and achieve something. But instead I'm seeing people saying we should sack the manager after winning a game of football. Come on, guys. Come on. This is not going to help the team. Is it going to help the team in a couple of weeks' time when we play Tottenham and people are moaning and people are getting angry and shouting at players because they're passing the ball backwards a little bit in the first few minutes? It's not going to help us at all. So let's get behind the team. It's pathetic what we're seeing from the crowd at the moment. And I'm someone that goes to games regularly. Support the team. They're not supporting the team at all. It's almost as if people are happy if we lose because it gives them an opportunity to talk about everything that's wrong with the club. And there are things wrong with the club. And I still stand by that. For 90 minutes, we love Chelsea. We're Chelsea supporters. Encourage the team. Let's be one. Let's be a collective, but it's completely separate at the moment from the players and the supporters, and the players must hate playing at home. Even though our record at home recently has actually been okay, it's really, really embarrassing. And against Tottenham in a couple of weeks, the atmosphere will probably be good. It's a night game, and we hate Tottenham, and, you know, they're our biggest rivals, and it's always going to generate that kind of animosity in the atmosphere. But we need it at every game. You know, we need to get behind the team. And I know I've probably repeated that mantra a lot in this video, but it's so important that we get to the end of the season and we're able to fulfill our objectives. I see a lot of people throw their toys out the pram and call out Enzo Maresca and say, how dare he, for saying that we need to provide a bit of atmosphere. But he's right. He's right, because the atmosphere is crap. It is crap. And everyone, as a collective, me included when I'm at games, need to do better, because that's how we're going to win games of football. That's how we're going to be a difficult place for opponents to come to. That's how we're going to achieve our objectives together. So yeah, that's my piece on that. In terms of the game, yeah, 3 points, job done. Not a classic performance. Not too much to analyse. I think Leicester were very poor. We were perfectly, I thought, okay. Wasn't terrible, wasn't great. We got the job done, and that is what it is. And we move on to Copenhagen on Thursday and then Arsenal next Sunday, which will definitely be harder challenges, I think. So yeah, that's it for the match review, guys. I'll see you in the week for the preview against Copenhagen. Delight with the 3 points, and yeah, I'll see you all very soon.